Yo, what up, guys? So it's almost the end of the quarter. We got 2 more weeks in June. That's Q2, quarter two, April, May, and June. And coming up is our healthcare stipend here in California. Apparently not everywhere, because I was in an Uber in Chicago recently, a couple weeks ago, for my sister's graduation, and apparently they don't get a medical healthcare stipend in Chicago. That's kind of sucks, but that's one of the main reasons I left my W-2. I knew I'd make more doing rideshare gig work than my W-2 for sure, like double the amount per month. But the one thing I was kind of worried about is at least my W-2 paid half of my medical expenses for me and my daughter. Well, the monthly premium, not the expenses, but the monthly premium for the insurance. And so that was kind of one of my worries, but I said, you know what, I'd rather make double and then just find an insurance, and it'll kind of be, spending almost the same, maybe a little more. But turns out here in California, if you drive 15 hours every 3 months, Uber or Lyft will give you $850. If you do 25 hours, they'll send you almost $1,800 every 3 months. And so I ended up doing the math, and it covers me, my wife, and my daughter. And so next on July 5th will be now my second healthcare stipend I get from them. And because I used to do this part-time, now I do it full-time. So now I for sure hit the hours all the time. And so I'm going to be getting, in a month from now, for Q2 for this quarter, $1,700 and almost $50. Last for Q1, January, February, and March, they gave me also about $1,800. So I've almost already gotten $3,600 from Uber and Lyft in healthcare stipends, which covers my medical. So when they say that Uber and Lyft don't pay for medical, well, they do, and they actually pay better than a W-2, because a W-2, at least mine, in order to get medical benefits, you have to work at least 30 hours per week. And it didn't matter if you do 30, 40, 50, 60 hours a week, they're only going to cover half your medical. Whereas Uber and Lyft, you do 15 active hours, they pay $850. You do 25 active hours, that doubles. And so I would have to pay half the medical. Now it covers the full medical, and I get to pocket the spread, which is I get to keep that little bit of extra, which is about $100 extra. And that didn't happen on my W-2. So they do, here in California at least, there are medical benefits. And depending on which medical you buy, if you buy like a crappier medical, I'd be pocketing a spread of like hundreds of dollars, if not more. But the thing is, I have a 1-year-old daughter, and I want to make sure we have the best medical in San Diego, which is Sharp Medical. They're pretty up there. And so they're not cheap. But the fact is, I don't have to, out of my pocket, pay for any of the medical. Whereas my W-2, I had to pay out of pocket for half the medical. So for me, this was one of the main factors why I left gig work, or left my W-2 for gig work. Even though I knew, even if they didn't cover medical, I was making roughly like $3,500 maybe or so from my W-2. And it was actually like $4,000, but there's taxes for W-2s, so it was below that. Sometimes it was like $3,200 a month. And I knew that with gig work I can make about $8,000 a month, and so I knew I'd be able to cover it even if they didn't have medical. But the fact is, they do have healthcare medical stipend. So definitely now I'm about to get this is going to be $3,500 so far, 6 months into the year. That is like a mini bonus in a way, because to me it's a bonus because it pays my family's medical, and that's based off how many hours you drive. So to me it is a bonus, because if you don't drive those types of hours I drive for gig work, then you're not going to get that healthcare stipend, and you're not going to get that bonus. So it is a bonus. It's a bonus for putting in the hours and putting in the time. And I mean, $7,000 a year, bonus, paying my medical, and I get to keep almost $500 of that. Is pretty cool to me. But yeah, make sure you guys if you're in California, I don't know what other states do healthcare stipend. Maybe it's not just California, but you definitely got to take advantage of it. when people say there's no benefits, there are benefits. You can get a free Costco membership. I remember when I was and you can get gas cash backs, all that, but you might as well go to Costco. I remember when I was a diamond driver, I could get a full scholarship online to Arizona State, and I've followed people on YouTube that have gone through with it, and they got their bachelor's degree for free, paid tuition through Uber. So I mean, it does have benefit, you know. And I've worked at W2 for a long time, and I see more benefit in rideshare. And again, there's healthcare and all that. So yeah, end of 2 weeks away from end of Q2, and shout out Lyft and Uber for paying my family's medical. All right, guys. This week so far, I'm driving really bad as in hours wise. I've been lazy this Monday and Tuesday. Usually by now it's Tuesday 2:20 in the afternoon. By now, usually I have like, well, say it's the end of the day on Tuesday, my like regular Tuesday, which would be like 5 p.m. or so. I should be at anywhere from as low as 18 hours to about almost 24 hours driven. I'm at 13 hours. So I'm like 5 hours shy of my low average, because I just been lazy. But luckily I do a little bit of investing, or I guess I wouldn't even call it investing, it's just trading. But I do invest long-term in stocks, but I also do like a little bit of day trading here and there. And I did kind of decent buying a stock, which is not investing advice. I bought Dell a few months back at 175 bucks a share, and they just exploded up to like over 400, and I think it was like 468 a share or something like that. And I sold some, so I did keep like a little bit, but I made 500 bucks profit. So I took that out and just deposited it, and it kind of covers what I haven't driven this week. So I'm still at my normal numbers, but that's kind of cheating because that's not rideshare or gig work money. But it is good to have other stuff other than gig work. You gotta either be investing or starting a little side business. I used to have my own small little side business for 15 years. So it is helpful to have other incomes other than gig work. Don't just rely on one income, but this is definitely my main income source right now. Now that I don't have my small little business anymore, and so I'm just steadily investing in other stuff. But yeah, later guys, I'll see you for the end of week numbers, and I'll probably still put in about almost 60 hours this week. We'll see though. All right, peace out guys.